Hey guys, there used to be a song by Meatloaf, and he used to sing, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. We're going to talk about that today. What is it that Meatloaf probably wouldn't do? Well, if he was an expat, I'm going to tell you, and we're going to get into that. You know, I get a lot of calls from guys. I get a lot of emails from guys. I get a lot of comments from people, and I hear a lot of stories. And one of the guys sent me an email a while back, and he was telling me the story of how he talked to this girl for about 2 years. He says, "Oh, Steve, I got this girl. She's a really wonderful girl, and, I bought a house with her, and I'm sending her money each month. I know you said not to do that, but, this girl seems like she's the real deal, so I wanted to send some money." This is without meeting the girl. Keep this in mind. Okay, and of course, he came here. He landed at the airport, and the girl never met him. Guy went out, spent 4 days trying to hunt her down. Never could find her. He knew she existed somewhere out there, at least on the internet. But this lady scammed him. And I want to say this before I go any further, that there's a lot of stereotypes out there. One of them is a really bad stereotype that all Filipino girls are like this, because, and the fact is that they're not. Most of the Filipino girls are pretty decent women, but a lot of them get hung up on money. They've never had money in their life. So when they have money in their life, they don't know how to handle it. You need to find a girl that understands about money a little bit and understands that that's not all there is to the world. A lot of girls, that's why they want to get to the US. That's why they want to do certain things. It's why they get hung up on that money. But the majority of Filipino girls are really not like that. Now, if you take them to the States, there is a certain thing that happens to some of these girls because they get Americanized over time. And sometimes it's not good. Sometimes they don't get Americanized. I'd say it's like a 50-50 proposition, kind of. I'm not sure what the statistics are, but I know when I was married to a Filipino, when she got Americanized, it was pretty bad. It went downhill fast, and I'll just say that. And the story of this guy is quite common over here. It's common because people keep repeating the story. It's not as common as we might think, though, that it happens to everybody, okay? But it does happen, and a lot of guys do meet these girls, and you can pretty much tell when they start hitting you up for money all the time, they're that type of girl. Best to leave that girl alone. If she's hitting you up for money all the time, that's a red flag right there, and it's a big red flag, okay? You don't want to get involved in that. My girlfriend, she never really asked me for money in the beginning. Never hit me up for money. I actually offered it to her because I wanted her to get out of the OFW work that she was doing and go back home and sit and wait for me. And here I am 8 years later, and I'm still with her, and I love that girl to death. But I'll tell you something, you can find people here that are decent, but don't let that stereotype hold you down either. You can pretty much tell which ones are decent and which ones aren't. But if you don't meet them, don't buy a house. I've heard that story too many times, and I've heard it from other people too. I've heard it from people that had friends that had it happen to them. I've heard it in phone calls from people that have told me that they got ripped off, maybe not for a house, but they sent some money or what have you, and guess what? It went south really, really fast. Don't do it. Remember, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. That's Meatloaf. He's saying that. That's the one thing you don't want to do in the Philippines, is give a girl money for a house or a large sum of cash. You want to send her $450 a month or something, if that's what you feel like doing, hey, knock yourself out. But think about it, that you might not get that back. And when I gave that money, I knew there was a chance that I may never get that money back, but at least I was helping the girl out, and I was helping my little boy out and her daughter, and everything worked out for the best. And I wanted to be with them, and they wanted to be with me, and I was lucky. Some guys are not so lucky. If you don't have that money to spend, don't do it. Don't do it. A lot of guys out there, they have life savings and stuff, and they figure, well, I'm 70 years old, I'm 68 years old. And it usually happens more so with the older guys, because they figure, well, I only got 5, 6, 8, 10 years to go, maybe if I'm lucky. What do I care if I spend 10,000 of my 100,000 that I got saved? Well, God forbid you have something go on medically or whatever and you need that cash. That's the problem. So don't do it. You know, I know a lot of guys here, they want to have somebody to settle in with, somebody to have that last love with. And that's okay. You'll find her. They're here. Okay? But make sure you find the right one. Don't do anything stupid. Think before you act. You know, and I tell people, make sure if you're going to send somebody some money to somebody, do it with reservation and thought. Do it with reservation and thought before you send it. Is this girl the real deal? Is she going to be that person that you wanted all your life in your life? Is she? You know, is she going to be that one? You know, we all want to have that love, and as we get older, we've all come off failed relationships or whatever. That's part of life. That goes for women and for men. They go through failed relationships. It happens. It's all through life. Relationships usually don't last that long. You know, some relationships last for a lifetime, some don't. But we want that one relationship that's going to take us to the end. And, you know, be careful. Be careful. Because some people want it so bad, they're willing to do anything for that. And that means shelling out $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 for a house or whatever. I've even heard stories of more than that. You don't want to be doing that, guys. Be careful. You know, you guys know how much I love expats. I look out for the expats that come here. And we do run into our share that are a little bit of trouble or whatever. And we run into some that don't use their heads. And they get caught up in the issues and stuff like that. And I get calls from some of those guys. Hey, Steve, how can I get that money back? Or how can I do this here? What should I do? And I says, dude, your money's gone. You ain't getting it back. You can't go to anybody because you gave it to her freely. And everything's in her name now. So you're done. And a lot of these guys think that they can get that money back. It ain't happening. You know, so remember, if you're going to do anything for love, don't do that, okay? Remember Meatloaf's words. You know, Meatloaf was a great singer, but he also was a genius when it comes to relationships as far as that saying, you know, and that song. It was a good song. Anyway, guys, God bless. Love you guys. Remember, always have a good head on your shoulders. You know, always have a good head on your shoulders. You'll do fine in the Philippines. God bless, guys. Take care.